Have you ever imagined that before the universe even existed, God was already thinking about you? Before a single star was placed in the sky, before time began to count, you were already in the Creator's mind. He envisioned every detail about you: your face, your voice, your smile, the way you would love. He didn't create you by chance. He thought about you over and over again. You weren't a passing thought. You were an eternal plan. He knew how you would see the world, the dreams that would burn in your heart, the challenges you would face. He knew every choice, every moment, every tear, and every victory. And yet he chose to bring you to life, because you are not a mistake. You are a purpose. You are the fulfillment of a divine dream, the realization of a thought that God nurtured for all eternity. God didn't just imagine you. He rejoiced in the thought of your existence. He heard your voice before you ever spoke. He saw the brightness in your eyes before you ever opened them. He felt the love you would carry in your heart, and it filled him with joy. He visualized every detail about you, from the way you dream to the way you love. He imagined the impact you would have on the world, the people you would meet, the hearts you would heal, the lives that would be transformed through you. And when the time came, he breathed life into what was once only a thought, because the universe couldn't go on without you. The world needed someone exactly like you. From the moment you took your first breath, God has never stopped watching over you. Every step you've taken, every choice you've made, he has seen it all. He celebrates your moments of joy, but he also sees the silent battles that no one else notices. He knows the things you try to hide, the doubts that weigh on your heart, the fears you don't speak of, the wounds that still haven't healed. But none of that changes his love for you. In fact, he loves you completely, not despite your flaws, but with them. You don't need to prove your worth, because your worth was established before the world even began. God has never had doubts about you. He has never hesitated to love you. Maybe at some point you've wondered, does my life really have a purpose? Maybe the world has tried to convince you that you're just one among billions. But that is the biggest lie you've ever been told. You are not an accident. You are not a coincidence. You are an intentional masterpiece of God, a plan so precious, so carefully crafted, that the Creator of the universe couldn't help but bring it into existence. The Psalms declare, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb." Psalm 139:13. This means that God didn't just make you, he shaped you. Every detail about you has meaning. Your personality, your passions, even your struggles. Everything was designed with a purpose, and that purpose is still alive. You may not see it yet, but God always has. He has never stopped believing in you. Long before you took your first step, God had already mapped out your journey. He saw every door that would open, every detour you would take, every tear that would fall, and every smile that would brighten your face. He knew there would be moments of doubt, times when you would look around and wonder, am I on the right path? But even when you feel lost, God never loses sight of you. The Psalms remind us, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him." Psalm 37:23. This means that even when you stumble, God is there. He sees when you fall, but he never leaves you on the ground. He is always ready to lift you up, to strengthen you, to remind you that you are never alone on this journey. Every step you take is part of the story he wrote for you. And no matter how hard the road has been, the best is yet to come. God didn't just create you with a purpose. He placed something unique inside of you, a gift, a light, something that no one else can bring in the way that you can. The world needs what you carry. The Psalms say, "You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me." Psalm 139:5. This means that God surrounds you completely. He has equipped you, strengthened you, and placed inside you everything you need to fulfill the calling he has for your life. But maybe you doubt yourself. Maybe you look in the mirror and think, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. But God doesn't see you the way the world does. He sees your heart. He sees your potential, your resilience, your desire to be better. And even when you fail, He still believes in you because He has never doubted what He placed inside of you. You are an essential part of His plan. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can change that. God didn't just create you with a purpose. He placed something unique inside of you. A gift, a light, something that no one else can bring in the way that you can. The world needs what you carry. The Psalms say, "You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me." Psalm 139:5. This means that God surrounds you completely. He has equipped you, strengthened you, and placed inside you everything you need to fulfill the calling He has for your life. But maybe you doubt yourself. Maybe you look in the mirror and think, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. But God doesn't see you the way the world does. He sees your heart. He sees your potential, your resilience, your desire to be better. And even when you fail, He still believes in you because He has never doubted what He placed inside of you. You are an essential part of His plan, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can change that. There are days when the silence feels heavy, days when you feel forgotten, invisible, as if no one truly sees what you're going through. But even when the world doesn't notice, God sees you. The Psalms declare, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Psalm 23:4. You have never been alone. Every tear that has fallen from your eyes, God has seen. Every prayer you have whispered, He has heard. Every time you felt weak, it was Him who sustained you. Maybe you haven't noticed because you were waiting for a grand sign. But God also speaks in the whispers, in the small miracles of daily life, in those moments when peace unexpectedly fills your heart in the middle of chaos. He is here, right now, with you. He is in the silence, in the breath filling your lungs, in the beating of your heart. He has never abandoned you. And if today you feel alone, remember this: the Creator of the universe is closer than you think. Maybe you're in a difficult season, a time when everything feels uncertain, when doors seem closed and the road ahead looks unclear. You ask yourself, God, why is this happening to me? The Psalms declare, commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will do this. Psalm 37:5. Even when you don't understand, God is working. What feels like a delay may be His protection. What feels like silence may be a time of preparation. God is never inactive. He is shaping your character, strengthening your faith, leading you towards something greater. Many times we want to see the full plan. We want immediate answers. But God teaches us to trust, to take one step at a time even when we can't see the whole path. If everything feels difficult right now, remember, God has already seen the end of the story, and He promises that those who trust in Him will never be put to shame. Your journey does not end here. What God has promised, He will fulfill. Have you ever felt like your life lacks meaning? Like you're just existing, not really living? But here's the truth. God created you with a purpose, and that purpose is already inside you. The Psalms declare, "The Lord will fulfill His purpose for me. Your steadfast love, O Lord, endures forever." Psalm 138:8. This means that God didn't just create you. He designed you for something specific. Every talent, every experience, every challenge, it's all part of your journey to become who He always intended you to be. Maybe you're waiting for a big sign, something extraordinary, but your purpose might already be in the small things, in the love you share, in the kindness you give, in the way you impact the lives around you. You weren't made just to exist. You were made to inspire, to transform, to shine. And when you start walking in your purpose, everything changes. Don't wait any longer. Your life has a far greater meaning than you can imagine. There are moments when you feel weak, days when it seems like you don't have the strength to keep going. But even in those moments, God sees a strength in you that you haven't realized yet. The Psalms declare, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me." Psalm 28:7. You don't have to carry everything alone. God never intended for you to fight your battles without him. He is your refuge, your shelter, your security. You may have been through pain, loss, and disappointment, but look where you are now. You're still here. You're still fighting. That means there is something inside of you that the world couldn't destroy. This strength does not come from you alone. It comes from God. He renews you, sustains you, and helps you move forward. And every time you rise after falling, he rejoices. So don't believe the voice that says you can't make it, because God has already declared that you can. The world can be a tough place. Some battles feel lonely, some wounds seem too deep, but you were never meant to go through any of it alone. The Psalms declare, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." Psalm 55:22. God has always been by your side, in the good days and the bad, in moments of joy and in the silent nights of tears. He doesn't just see you, he walks with you. Maybe you feel like no one understands what you're going through, but God does. He knows every pain you carry, every fear you've never spoken aloud. And he wants to carry that burden for you. He wants to take the weight off your shoulders, to bring you rest, to fill you with peace. All you have to do is let him. You are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. How many times have you doubted yourself? How many times have you felt like you weren't enough, like you weren't capable of handling what life has thrown at you? But listen carefully. God has never doubted you. The Psalms declare, "The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life." Psalm 121:7. God has always seen your potential. He sees beyond your mistakes, beyond your failures. He sees the strength within you, the courage waiting to rise, the dreams you're afraid to chase. You were not created to live in doubt. God made you to live with faith, with purpose, with boldness. Every promise he has made for you still stands. He is waiting for you to take the next step. It doesn't matter what's behind you. What matters is what you choose to do from this moment forward. Because God has never given up on you, and he never will. Have you ever noticed that no one else has your exact story? No one else has gone through the same struggles in the same way. No one carries the exact same experiences, the same lessons, the same wisdom. That's because God made you unique. The Psalms declare, "You, Lord, keep my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light." Psalm 18:28. You carry something inside of you that the world needs. A light, a message, a gift that only you can share. God placed a fire within you, knowing that it would shine, even in the darkest places. You may not realize it, but your life has already impacted those around you. One word from you can restore someone. A simple act of kindness from you can heal a heart. Your story could change someone's life forever. So don't hide the light that God placed in you. Don't doubt what he can do through you. You are here for a reason. You were sent to shine. If there's one thing you should remember from this, it's this: God loves you, and his love has never been based on what you have done or failed to do. It was a choice, an eternal decision. The Psalms declare, "But from everlasting to everlasting, the Lord's love is with those who fear him." Psalm 103:17. You are the fulfillment of God's dream. You were thought of, created, and shaped with a purpose that no one else can fulfill. Every step you take, he sees. Every time you choose to keep going, even when it's hard, he rejoices. You are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. If this message spoke to your heart, write Amen in the comments. Declare that you receive this word and that you trust in God's plan for your life. And more than that, share this message. Someone you know might need to hear this right now. Be the light in someone's life today. Let this word be engraved in your heart. You are loved. You are chosen. You belong to God.